What's up guys, Matt
and Blake
from the Football Boots team, and what we've got for you guys today are the 10 very best boot options you guys can buy right now. So kicking us off in at number 10 is a great place to start. We've got the Magista. Now what is the best Magista that these guys can buy, and what are the other good alternatives?
So the Magista Obra 2 is in the kids option and an adult version, and it is the out and out performer in the Magista range. It's got Flyknit pretty much in the entire boot with that collar, nylon chassis, Brio cables and that dimpled upper. Very, very high in terms of performance and technology, but for £250 that may push you over the limit. I would suggest you get another colorway which might be on a discounted price. We also have the Magista Opus 2 at £190. It doesn't have that Flyknit, it has a Kangalite upper, still very, very comfortable. And the value options in the Magista range, we got the Onda DF and the Onda Low. One for £80 and one for £65. If you like the collar, get the DF version. Not the highest in terms of performance and technology on the Onda range, but very, very good value options. Maddie, what one would you go for?
Right now, if I were given a choice out of any Magista boot, I would go for the Obra 2. It's a lot of money, but I love the Flyknit upper. So in the future, just like what Nike did with the Flyknit Vapor, I would love to see a low-cut Flyknit Magista. In at number 9, and we're switching brands over to Puma. And the thing is, Puma's not my favourite football boot brand, so Blake, sell it to me and sell it to the guys watching.
So if I want to sell the Puma one to you guys watching this video, it is a very comfortable boot, and in most cases they'll be cheaper than the Tempo or the Cobra 17.1. At £160, that's probably a little bit too much for the 117.1, but what is the value option for the one range? It is the Puma one 17.3. At £70, it's got a full grain leather. It still will be comfortable, need a bit more break in time, but overall this is a really nice classic black colorway. It is leather and it's a very, very good price. We've also got the EvoPower Vigor 1 for £160. That boot is dying out, so there'll be a lot of discounted prices for the EvoPower Vigor 1. Maddie, the Vigor or the Puma 1 17.1?
I will probably have to go for the Puma 1 17.1, but I might keep my money in my pocket for a few more months to wait for the Puma 1 18.1, because there might be something a little bit different and special about that model from Puma. Number 8, and this is an underrated smash. And talking about underrated, what brand is it?
This is Under Armour with their Clutch Fit 3.0. A very, very underrated boot, as Matt said. £170 is a little bit too much for the Solo, but you probably will get discounted prices in a lot of online stores for the Clutch Fit. You've worn the Clutch Fit before. Do you rate it?
I do love this boot. It's got a Trevella upper, so it is a synthetic, but it is so ultra soft and also very grippy. Soft and grippy, two of my favourite things about synthetic boot, just like high venom, so massive ticks for this boot from Under Armour. Lucky number 7, and we've got our good value for money leather boots. Now there's actually going to be 2 that we're talking about, so Blake, take it away.
So as I mentioned before, the Puma 1 17.1 was £160, but these are the value leather options you can get. The Nike Premier 2.0, £495, K-leather upper, not the highest grade of K-leather, but it's still a very comfortable, affordable foot boot. As well as that, we've got the Adidas Copper 17.2 or the Copper Gloro. Again, this is a very affordable football boot. It's Taurus leather, so it's not K-leather, so it won't be the most comfortable in terms of leathers, but overall, £85 for a comfortable leather boot is a very good choice. Maddie, what would you go for, the Copper Gloro 17 or the Nike Premier?
I am willing to spend an extra £10 to get the Premier 2 because I think the quality and also the styling is just a little bit better over the Copper. Views from the 6, we've now got the X from Adidas. Now the X has got some of my favourite boots from Adidas, but also some of my least favourite. So Blake, what's the best and what's the worst?
By far the best boot in the X collection is the X17 Plus Pure Speed. £250 is quite a high price for this boot, but I think it is actually worth it. One of the highest grade thin synthetics you can get on an Adidas football boot and on any elite football boot you can get on the market. Very, very nice football boot with that pure cut, lace cover, very nice upper, sprint frame sole plate, very nice, and the value option is not the X17.1. That is a waste of your time. We'll go for the X17.2 at £110. You could get cheaper ones, especially the Ocean Storm, for something like £80 or £90. Overall, this is a good value option in the X range. Maddie, the X17.2 or the Pure Speed?
Look, it's so much amount of money, £250 for the Pure Speed, but it is just that good. I tested it earlier this week in the new colorway, and I think they are just so classy. For me, it has to be the X, but at 17.2, if you don't have the money or you're a youth player, another great option for you with that thin, soft synthetic upper. Halfway stage, number 5, we've got Nike's classical boot, the Nike Tiempo range. Now, what's the best and what are the good alternative options?
So the Legend 7 is an out-and-out high performer in terms of comfort and as well as that responsiveness. It's got flywire, it's got a very nice K-leather upper, not the highest K-leather upper we have seen on Tiempo, a very nice hyper agility sole plate, overall a very high performer with that Flyknit tongue, 190 pounds, again quite a steep price. We've also got the Tiempo Legacy, which in my eyes is the most affordable boot on the market, 115 pounds, up there with the Nike Premier and the Copper Gloro 17. Matty, if you had to choose one of these two, what would you go for?
Well, the thing is, throughout my playing career, when I bought a Tiempo Legend, I wanted the very best K-leather upper on the market, and it has been for the last maybe 10 years. But this Tiempo Legend 7, I think they've actually downgraded the leather ever so slightly.
Yep.
So me personally, I would actually save my money and go for the Legacy, because it's pretty much exactly the same leather, just minus a Flyknit on the heel, which doesn't really do anything serious. In at number 4, we've now got the Ace from Adidas. Now, is the Pure Control at £250 the best model in the Ace range?
Well, it's got a laceless design. It is a very popular boot. In terms of performance, it doesn't quite compete with this silo, the Ace 17.1, otherwise known as the Prime. This has laces. You can tighten the fit the way you want it. With the Pure Control, you've got that inner wrap, which isn't the best in terms of responsiveness. It's quite loose on that midfoot, but the laces makes this a much more responsive boot than the Pure Control, and £30 difference, $220, that is a definite bargain in terms of the Ace range. Our value option in this is the Ace 17.4 Prime Mesh. Now again, in terms of technology and performance, it's quite low, but it's got a neoprene collar. Matt, which one would you go for?
Well, I wouldn't go for the scaled down boot from Adidas, because their scaled down options aren't as good as Nike's. But what would I do? The Pure Control or the Prime Knit? Look, £30 difference. The Pure Control has boost, but it doesn't feature any laces, so for £30 cheaper, I want to customize the boot exactly how I want, so I'm going for this 17 Prime Knit. Top 3 time, and we're back over to Nike for my own personal favourite range from the swoosh. We've got the Hypervenom, the Phantom, the low cut, and also some scaled down options. So Blakey, take it away.
We have to kick things off with the Hypervenom Phantom 3DF. Arguably the best collared boot on the market. The Superfly 5 could compete with that, but overall this in terms of performance, it got paw and pods, pretty much an all Flyknit upper, that hyperreactive sole plate with that collar and flywire cables. A very high performer in terms of responsiveness, very high. For £250 though, I would be pointing to this one. This is the Phantom 3 Low for £200, so £50 cheaper than the DF. It's £50 off for just the collar missing. That is a definite bargain in my eyes. In terms of performance, this, you can't really beat this. In terms of performance, it's got all Flyknit, it's a low cut design, very similar to the Flyknit Vapor, but you can't get the Flyknit Vapor, you can get this one everywhere. This is my pick. What would you go for, Matty?
Let's not mess about. The best boot in the Hypervenom range is the Phantom 3 Low, and to be fair, in my opinion, it is Nike's best boot on the market, maybe minus the Flyknit Ultra. Just missing out in at number 2 is a boot which has impressed me so much since its release. We've got the Nemesis from Adidas. But Blake, what's the best and what's the good alternatives?
An out-and-out high performer again by Adidas. This is the Nemesis 17 Plus 360 Agility, £280. That is a very steep price for a football boot. It is a very high performer, but the boot I would suggest is the Nemesis 17.1. This is the boot Messi wears himself. He prefers the laces over the laceless design. It's the same case as with the Ace range, getting the Ace 17.1 over the Pure Control. I definitely recommend getting the Nemesis 17.1 as it's got laces. As well as that, the value range is the Nemesis 17.3, which isn't really up there in terms of technology and performance. It does lack the bandage system, but kids, if you want to get this boot and you want to wear what Messi wears, get the Nemesis 17.3 for £80. Matty, if you had to choose, which one would you go for?
All day, every day, it has to be the Nemesis 17.1. It wouldn't just be the boot that I'll go for in the Nemesis range. It could be a boot that I actually go for my own personal football alongside the Phantom 3 Low. Number 1, taking the trophy. There's one model, one brand, and it has to be the Mercurial from Nike. Blake, what are the options involved?
So the Mercurial Superfly 5, in my eyes, is the most affordable collared option for £250. A very high performer in terms of responsiveness, comfort, and everything to do with performance. But again, £250 is again quite steep for a football boot. We'll look at the Vapor. The Vapor is actually £190. It doesn't have Flyknit. It has a very nice soft and supple Titan synthetic upper. Again, I think this is another great value option in the Mercurial range. As well as that, kids wanting to get what CR7 wears, get the Victory 6 DF in that kids option with that collar for £60. That is a great present for anyone wanting that boot. As well as that, we've also got the Victory Low. If you don't like the collar, get the £65 version. So that's it, Matty.
Yeah, so guys, that is it all wrapped up. But what about you guys? What boot would you go for that we've actually shown you in the video? Comment in the section below. But that's it all wrapped up. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it as always.
We'll see you next time.